What is up? It's Wednesday. My dog is sleeping under my desk. The topic is about work owes me. I did this, half of this on Instagram yesterday, so we'll go back over that and then I want to expand a little bit more. So, on the topic of work owes me, or feeling like your job is indebted to you in some way, I see this all the time in the workplace. I've thought that, I've taken that energy with me to work. So it's something I think is pretty pervasive and can have really damaging consequences. So we want to dig into how is that serving you? Why are you doing, why are you feeling that way, and how you can address it outside of work. So a few points to go through. One, to have that chip on your shoulder, like work owes me, and speaking like that, throwing that vocabulary around, can be very off-putting to your coworkers, to the people you work with, definitely to your bosses, and others pick up on that. And it comes across as cocky, but without being confident. The second thing is this concept of being indebted to is really keeping score. And just like in relationships, work is a relationship. You have a relationship with the people there, and definitely having that dynamic of going to and from work. It is a relationship in your life. So there's a lot of toxicity in keeping score. You build up resentment. You're keeping track of things over time. Can really start to create a lot of tension, and it's not healthy for you. And you take that resentment then in the workplace, and it can stall your growth, can stall your progress. The third and most important topic on that I want to talk about is examine why you feel the need to be owed something. It can be a way of asserting control. You're weaving up a narrative in your mind. Oh, well, I'm keeping score here, and so now they owe me this. And you're trying to imagine that you have control over the situation. And really, what is that control doing for you? Really, why do you feel the need to have that control? Sometimes it can be, it manufactures feelings of security or safety, or certainty at work. So that could be what it's doing for you. Because work is a social place, you have your coworkers there, you have, people that you interact with, friends maybe. There's a big social element to your thoughts about work. So this asserting control over saying that work owes me can really be affecting your relationships at work. That control could be carving out your place, making you feel like you have acceptance, or, making you feel important among the group socially. So those are things that need to be valued, need to be accepted, wanting to feel secure or have some sort of certainty. Those are really fundamental needs for you as a person. So you want to kind of address those in isolation from the workplace, because it's not really about your job, it's about how you want to feel. And lastly, this idea of keeping score right is my past performance now means that in the future I'm guaranteed this. Keeping score over time is keeping you stuck in the past. It's not about what you did last year or what you did last month. It's about this year. It's about this month. And the more you live in the now, the more you're propelling yourself and you're growth oriented. If you're always sitting back and banking on what happened last year and trying to say, oh, well, someone owes me, it may be hindering you from performing in the now. And now we enter kind of the second part of what I want to talk about, which is living in the past. As they say, past results don't guarantee future returns. So work owes me is a very stagnant, waiting energy, and you're hanging on opportunity of the past without moving or doing something about it. And that kind of that stagnant or backward looking energy goes against all the laws of business and economics, right? It's about returns. It's about now and the future. What are you contributing now? How are we going to get things in the future? So I want to encourage you to, not be hanging on to this idea of, oh, but I already did this. You want to be always leveling up and you want to always be growing. And when you harbor that kind of resentment towards your job, I know I've definitely been there. I can remember some pretty specific instances of feeling that way. Um, it keeps you from moving forward. You're just kind of like, digging your heels in and waiting for your reward. And the world doesn't work that way. You got to move on. If, something happened in the past and you feel like you should have been, rewarded, or that should have helped your progress, but now it's not, that feeling might be keeping you stuck, and it's so important to move on. If you can't move on in your mind, if you can't keep growing in the position that you're in, if that resentment is just too much to overcome, now that's another story, which is you don't owe them to stay. So these are kind of my thoughts around that. It's super important because it affects both your relationships, how you're dealing with people. That affects how you feel, and it can become a very personal thing, but it also impacts your career opportunity and your career trajectory. So super important.